A honeybee colony is composed of a single queen who's the mother of all other individuals in the colony, anywhere from roughly 20 to 40,000 worker honeybees. Those are facultatively sterile individuals, they're females, and anywhere from 0 to a few hundred males or drones, depending on the time of year. It also has a nest organization. So it's got the social structure and it has a nest organization. The nest organization is composed of parallel vertically oriented combs, as shown here, and they're spaced closely together. And these combs serve as the social substrate for all interactions of individuals, serves as a repository for food, for nectar and pollen. And also it serves as the nursery for developing larvae. The queen lays her eggs in those individual cells, they hatch, and then they develop in those cells. If you took a natural colony like what I just showed you here, and you went into one of those middle combs, and you took that comb out, it would be organized something like this. The upper edges and the outer edges of it would contain honey. Then there'd be a thin band of pollen, followed by an area of brood. That would be larvae, eggs, larvae, and pupae that are under development. So this is the basic organizational structure. There's also a reproductive division of labor, which adds complexity to the social structure of the colony. There are 2 reproductive types in the colony. That's the queen and the drone. Then there are the vast majority of the bees are workers, and these workers are normally not reproductive. It's only under certain circumstances when they can become reproductive and will lay eggs that develop into males. Honeybees have a division of labor among the workers, which is partly determined by age. We call it temporal polyethism. This has been known since at least 2,400 years ago, when Aristotle made the observation that the older bees of the colony remain inside and take care of the larvae and the internal tasks, and the younger bees forage. And he thought that because the bees that were foraging had far fewer hairs on their body than did the bees that were tending to the larvae and taking care of the nest. He had it backwards. That was primarily due, I guess, to his anthropocentric view. He thought that the bees that were lacking hair or had less hair, the ones that were foraging, were younger because he thought they were prepubescent. They hadn't yet gone through puberty and grown their beards and their hair on their bodies. And of course, he thought that these were all males. But it's actually backwards from that. It's the other way around. Young bees, when they emerge from their cells in the nest, are covered with fine hairs, and you can see they look fuzzy. As they age, those hairs break off. Then no new hairs ever grow. The hairs break off and they have less hair on their bodies and become shinier. But that is a good indicator of this age-related temporal polyethism, that the younger bees, the hairier bees, are inside, and the older bees, the ones with less hair, are working outside of the nest. This is a way you can depict it. So across the bottom, we have the different tasks that bees are capable of engaging in. And then on the y-axis, we have the probability of them making a transition from one task into the next task. If we look at it in this particular three-dimensional graph, you can see that as they change age, the tasks that they perform, as indicated by these different bars, shift. They're shifting from left to right. So it's not an abrupt case where at a certain age you do one thing, but the probability that you will engage in these different tasks changes as you age. When a bee first emerges as an adult, she comes out of her cell. She developed from larvae like these, and then pupae. Then she comes out as an adult. First thing she does is she cleans her cell and other cells. She becomes a cell cleaning bee, working right in the area where she emerged. Then she'll turn into a nurse bee. She will start feeding these larvae that are in these cells. She'll feed the larvae, and then she'll make a transition to areas outside of the center of the brood nest. Remember the comb I showed? The center of the brood nest had the brood in the center, the mass at the bottom. She will then transition to the outer, more central and outer edges of the nest, and she will be engaged in constructing comb, repairing comb. She may take nectar and cure the nectar into honey. She may cap honey cells. But those tasks are all located in certain areas of the nest, and those are the ones she performs. Then she'll be found a little bit closer to the entrance. And one of the things that they do is they engage in the public health program of removing dead bodies from the nest. So this would be an undertaker bee removing a dead body. They also may engage in defense of the nest, become guard bees. Like these bees here are shown in their guard stance. It's a typical stance. Mandibles slightly open, front legs off the entrance, off the deck, and leaning back on their hind forelegs, so that they can respond to intruders of different kinds, be it beekeepers or, in this case, it was an unfortunate horse. Then finally, they will begin to forage. They will leave the nest and they will begin engaging in tasks outside the nest, such as nectar collecting. They can collect pollen. They forage for water. Water is needed to dilute honey because it's too concentrated of sugar for them to consume and use directly. And propolis, which is a material they collect from plant resins from plants that they use for patching certain parts of the nest. Once they make this transition into a forager, then you seldom ever observe them doing within nest tasks. They've completed the transition. In the summertime, 3 to 6 weeks after they emerge as adults, they die.